And we're back in Caithness with Runecairn. And now we are going through the continuing adventures of Ari the Scarred. We started with a 27 size dungeon. We've worked our way through the encounters. We are now down to 12. That will be our next one. And before we get started, very quickly, Daniel from the Dungeon Dive did his 10 top horror films, as this is spooky season. So I'm just going to quickly go through my top 5. We have Dracula, Prince of Darkness, Dracula has risen from the grave, Taste the Blood of Dracula, and The Scars of Dracula. So not any theme particularly coming out of that, but also honourable mentions of Troll Hunter, Shadow of the Vampire, As Above So Below, Dog Soldiers, and Willow Creek, probably the scariest film I've ever seen. And also all of the aliens, all of the aliens. There we go. Now we'll crack on. Caithness. We have worked our way from Thurso Castle, where the Raven dropped us off. We've worked our way through that. Now we are in Thurso village itself, or town, but we're using the village encounters. So I got these little Viking models from Lincoln to go with the knight ones I already had, and I'll put a link in the description. You can get them at various National Trust, English Heritage places, things like that. So we need another village encounter. So we're going to find out what encounter we get. Oops, that's into the thing. 12, wow. Conflict, okay. A conflict in the village. D6 on this chart here. Oh my gosh. Conflict. D6 cultists attempt to summon a dread being with a ritual. D6 cultists, let's find out. 1 cultist. Okay, let's try and deal with this cultist. So, we find this cultist. He's trying to raise some terrible foul being, and we're going to see what his deal is while using the oracle. So let's grab a D10. 5. Surrender. Hopeful. Ulcer again. Surrender, hopeful, ulcer. So, I think this so-called ulcer is like some kind of spirit of disease. This is some kind of like a Nurgle type cultist. Perhaps he's covered in boils and such, and wants to bring through this spirit of disease into the world for his nefarious reasons. He's hopeful that he will be blessed in the service of this foul creature. So he's clearly somebody who's going to be difficult to deal with. What on earth are we going to do? I think it's a straight up fight to try and stop him. We're not going to reason with him, are we? Because he's just covered in gooey pustules and such. So I think what we're going to do, we're going to use our staff to use our Greystone ability and fling a magical stone at him while he's still busy doing this. So it's before the fight proper happens. And if I remember rightly, I think Greystone, which is not something that causes me fatigue, fires 30 feet a magical stone, and yep, D4 damage. So let's go. 2 damage. That bring his resilience down to 7. But now we're in a proper fight. Now we're going to do a dex save to try and react quicker than he can. So our dex is 10, and we roll a 1. So we react very quickly indeed. We cover the distance. Do we? What do we want to do? Yeah, I'm going to cast my spell actually. I'm going to cast my Seaver Spear. Yeah, okay. We'll do that. We'll take a fatigue, and we shall just mark that there. We shall roll d10 damage for him. That is 8. He is down to -1, so one of his strength drops to 11, and he must make a strength save of 11 or less. He doesn't. Our spear drops him immediately. So keeping our distance, can we discern any clue that he might know something about the location of the elder that we're looking for? Because that is our whole mission, to find this elder who might restore some knowledge or something to us regarding our people, our past in this horrific post-apocalyptic world. Try that again. 9, sorrow. I think that's a no. Well, we will not linger because we have we've been going down a long road, and so we will look to the next encounter, which is 5. That is a mundane encounter in the village. So we can roll on the mundane chart. Salted meat hanging from the ceiling. So we come across some sort of building with salted meat. Well, I think we could risk eating some of this salted meat, maybe, but I don't know. Is there anyone around? Oh. Let's do the oracle, see if it conjures anything. 3 is ponder. 5 is crestfallen. 7 is ride. Ponder, crestfallen, ride. Perhaps it's horse meat. That makes me think that there's some like horse tack nearby, which tells us that rather upsettingly this was a horse that we knew. So no, we're not going to eat the salted meat because it is a horse that we know of somehow. This is rather spooky. Yeah, that was a rather grim discovery. So our plan had been to eat some of this salted meat to restore our resilience. I think we're going to do a spirit check because this was a horrible surprise. So 10 or less. Yeah, instead of restoring a resilience, we are going to restoring fatigue. That's what I meant. We're going to lose another fatigue because that wasn't very nice at all. And we're going to move on, hopefully heading ever nearer to finding the truth about this elder. So let's roll the d12 for another type of encounter. 10, that is another conflict. So we go to the village chart again. and roll a d6. 1 are bandits. Scout roam the village looking for valuables to pilfer. Okay. I'm going to see if we can hide from this guy, because we're looking for the elder. We don't need to get in a needless fight, so I'm going to try and do a dex check to avoid his notice, and there's a 4, so we do manage to do that. And he passes on by as he's looking around the outskirts of the village for loot he might be able to pilfer. I want to move on. I don't want to bother interrogating him, because he's clearly got finding loot on his mind, and he might fancy nicking some of my loot. So I don't know. Is it worth zapping him? Should we take a stand and try and restore some kind of order in this new world? Let's have a think. I'm going to... He might have a little bit of armour. Let's quickly roll up his stats. I think we need to take a stand. 12. Dex 11. 8, 9, 10 wits. And resilience. Oops. 9. Yeah. I'm going to spring out of my hiding place and zap him with my Seether Spear, using my staff. 3, not what I'd hoped. So he dismounts and comes to attack me. Now likely he's got some kind of average everyday weapon. Perhaps a hand axe, maybe? Yeah, I bet he's got a hand axe. So that is d6, and he can clobber with that. Okay, and roll my dex or less. That's 10. To try and attack first, which I do. So I'm going to leap at him with my bearded axe. Roll a d8. 7 damage. He is down to minus... minus 4. So his strength is reduced to 8, and he needs to make a strength save, which he just manages to do, and therefore attacks me. He hits me for 4. My defense is 1, so that's not so good. I take 3 damage, so I am down to 9. I whack him again with my bearded axe for d8 damage. 6. His strength is reduced to 2, and he must make a strength save. And he almost does, but he doesn't. So I managed to deal with him. Now, can I find any clues on this guy? Let's see as we examine the body what comes up. We're using the oracle. 10, stagger. 2 is hopeful. Stagger, hopeful, hail. Stagger, hopeful, hail. I'm going to say that hail refers to the weather rather than a greeting, and it starts hailing, but as it's quite strong, but it does reinvigorate us somewhat. so it makes us feel a little bit more lively. So in interpreting that, I'm going to take fatigue off, because it gives us a bit of a chill boost. It's bracing, that's what I'm saying. So we will move on from this, and obviously we were hit by the hail, so we weren't able to discern any clues on this bandit. He may not have had anything to do with the elder. We will not find that out, and we'll roll for another encounter. So we'll get another conflict. We're just fighting everybody today. So we go to the village chart, roll the d6 on the conflict table. A seer with haste runestone patrols the area. Patrols the area. Okay, haste runestone. Patrolling. That might suggest that we're getting close to the sort of hub of this goings on. So as he's patrolling, we clearly think that he might know something useful. So we will greet him and see if we can get any information. He is a fellow seer. So yeah, let's see what his NPC reaction is. 4 is talkative. That's good. We might be able to get some information out of him. So let us roll the oracle and see what we find. 4 is overcome. 7 is wrathful. Overcome wrathful magic. Wow. Now what is making me think is that he saw us zap the bandit, and he is alarmed that we used our magic in such a destructive way. He may be, or who knows, but he insists that we relinquish our staff so that we can't use our magic, and we are resistant to that, and we're going to can we convince him to sort of no, we used our magic in a good cause, because that person was clearly rampaging this place, trying to steal stuff, and even in this dark fallen world we must have people standing up for the right thing to do. I will roll on the favour or sorrow, and depending on that I will do a spirit check with either advantage or disadvantage, or neither, depending on our result. 10 sorrow, so we will roll with disadvantage on our spirit, which is 10. So we take the highest result. 18 or 16, we failed either way. So the fight starts. He wants to take our staff. He feels that we are using magic in the wrong way. He's clearly in the wrong. But anyway, we're going to try and roll our dex or less to act first. We do, we roll a 1. So what do we want to do? We will attack him with our axe, I think. Do we want to do a super duper attack? We've got some fatigue in reserve, so we could do that, and I think we might do a we'll do a hack, I think. Let me just check. How do you do that? Roll double damage. I keep forgetting to look out for dire strikes. Not dire straits. So we'll use up fatigue and do double damage. So 6 and another 6, that's 12. That wipes out his resilience of 4 and puts him at -8 on his strength. So he has 4 strength less left, and he must immediately make a strength check with 4. 6, too close, but we absolutely clobber him with our axe. Okay. Right. Now this guy must surely have some clue. He's a seer. He's probably involved in something. The people who took the elder, who can say? But I'm going to roll on the oracle, see what we can find. Mourn. 6. Forlorn. Wealth. Mourn, forlorn, wealth. Well, I think we can see that this guy was he had been a noble in the previous world, and now he is, clearly threadbare in his once fine robes, and was perhaps gone a little off kilter in his mind because he misses his old lifestyle so much. So but that doesn't help us find out if he knew something. So I'm going to do a favour or sorrow roll. 7. Complication. Okay. With the complication, I think we need to do a wits check to detect a clue. So I'm going to roll 13 or less if I can. 8. What is this clue? This clue relates to the elder. Do an oracle check. Overcome. Forlorn. See. Perhaps we detect that the elder, there are clues on this guy that show that he's been down by the sea. There might be a lot of sand on his boots, and he has some note regarding the elder that they are being held down by the sea on the edge of the, well, down by the beach somewhere, perhaps in a sea cave. So that's where we think we might find the elder. So as we move on, we will do one more encounter for this session as we head towards the coast. We're not far from the coast, but that's where we need to go. We need to leave the village perhaps, but we'll do one last village encounter as we leave. For that is a mystery, a village mystery encounter. Just as we leave, a luminous tentacle emerges dripping from a wooden bucket. Perhaps something detects that we are on to them down by the sea, and that tells us immediately that we're on the right path. So let's do a little oracle for this strange tentacle. What does it suggest to us? Delve. Wrathful. God. So there's some kind of wrathful god from the depths, and perhaps we need to go into a dungeon, like a cavern complex by the sea, in order to find where the elder is. and there's some kind of foul sea deity involved in the corruption of this part of the world anyway. So I think we will go and sort that out in the next session. And another 2 horror films that I rather like. Attack of the Werewolves. I believe in the States it's called Game of Werewolves. And The Woman in Black. I like the book, I like the radio play, I like the film, I like the TV adaptation. You know, anything Woman in Black is alright by me. And the stage show, that was awesome. So, we shall proceed down to the coast next time and try and find the Elder, ultimately.